Hello, it's Toaster Party, and today I'm bringing you my top 5 decks for the post-January 2022 Banlist format. So the Banlist just dropped, and a lot of the best decks were hit, and quite a few weren't. But today I'm going to give you my thoughts on which are the 5 best decks that you could be playing in this upcoming format. That being number 5, Virtual World. So while the deck may have lost some Pot of Desires, what it did get was an additional copy of Emergency Teleport. Having another consistency booster in this deck is always appreciated, and it still makes incredibly powerful combo boards. Up next we have number 4, Lich. If we're talking about decks that got a pretty massive boost, Lich was one of those decks. They got 3 copies of Skill Drain, an incredibly powerful floodgate that pretty much hits every combo deck in the meta and doesn't really hurt Eldritch at all because Eldritch doesn't have an on-field effect, neither does any of the traps because they all activate and resolve as traps. So yeah, Eldritch is very favored after getting 3 copies of Skill Drain and not losing anything. Up next we have a number 3, Phantom Knights. This deck didn't lose anything, and it also got an incredible piece of support on the most recent set, Grand Creators, that being the Adventure Token engine, which allows it to get an additional free Omni Gate. The only reason why it's sitting back at number 3 is because it hasn't really been putting up a ton of good numbers in this prior format, but I expect it to do a lot better after it gets the Adventure Token engine. Up next with number 2, Invoke Dogmatica. Also known as Invoke Dogmatica Shaddoll, but it doesn't really play any Shaddoll cards in the main deck, so I refuse to call it that. So this deck literally lost 1 card. It lost 1 copy of Nadir Servant, which hits its consistency a little, but it wasn't really having a ton of consistency problems to begin with. And the fact that the deck really has remained pretty much unchanged means the deck is still incredibly powerful. It still puts up an incredible floodgate and a gate board, and I believe it'll continue to do so going forward, and it usually tends to do well at the start of new formats. And for number 1, if you haven't already guessed it, Tenu Sword Soul. Another deck that didn't really lose anything. It lost Arch Nemesis Protoss and some copies of Pot of Desires, but that doesn't really matter to this deck. Protoss wasn't how it was winning, and while losing Desires isn't that fun, a lot of other decks also lost Desires. So Tenu Sword Soul is pretty much just where it always has been. It's just going to sit at the top. Until it actually has a meaningful hit on the list, it's probably going to remain there for the foreseeable future. Well, hope you enjoy the video, hope you have an excellent day, and hope you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.